I think it's fair to say that most people misunderstand the Vikings completely. They imagine rage, violence, chaos, savage warriors screaming into battle. And perhaps that's true. But the most dangerous thing about the Vikings was not their aggression. It was their emotional control. And honestly, that's the leadership skill many modern leaders are losing right now. Because modern culture trains emotional fragility. React instantly. Complain publicly. Avoid discomfort. Wait until you feel ready to make a move. But Viking culture taught something radically different. Strength before comfort. And that mindset changes everything. Because Vikings understood a brutal truth about life. The storm does not care how you feel. The sea does not care if you're afraid. Battle does not pause because you're uncertain. Leadership does not wait for emotional readiness. And maybe that's why so many leaders collapse under pressure today. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack talent, because they were never trained to move through discomfort. And the Vikings were. If this kind of unconventional leadership psychology interests you, stick around. Subscribe now, because this channel is about uncovering the hidden lessons history, philosophy, psychology, and human behavior still teach us about leadership today. Because the Vikings understood something many modern leaders still resist. You know what it is? Fear is normal. Excuses, optional. That distinction alone matters. See, the Vikings did not become legendary because they felt fearless. They became legendary because they acted despite fear. And neuroscience now supports this idea. Your brain is designed to detect threats constantly. Fear is not weakness. Fear is survival wiring. But disciplined people learn how to move while fear exists. Weak leaders wait for certainty. Strong leaders build preparation. And the Vikings trained relentlessly for uncertainty. The ocean was uncertain. War, uncertain. Survival, uncertain. So Viking culture rewarded resilience, adaptability, and emotional steadiness under pressure, not emotional collapse. That's important because modern leadership often rewards appearance over resilience. People want to look confident, sound confident, perform confident, but pressure exposes performance quickly. Pressure reveals habits, discipline, mental stability, emotional control, and that's why difficult moments destroy weak leadership so fast. Because adversity exposes what comfort was hiding. The Vikings understood this deeply. That's why their culture valued endurance so highly. Long winters, brutal conditions, constant unpredictability. Their environment forced psychological toughness. And honestly, modern people are becoming psychologically overstimulated but emotionally undertrained. Notifications, distractions, comparison, stress, comfort addiction. Many people panic emotionally the moment life becomes difficult. But Viking leadership demanded something harder: composure during uncertainty. And that may be one of the rarest skills left in leadership today. Think about how most people react under pressure. Meetings become emotional. Teams panic. Leaders react or overreact. People freeze during uncertainty. Why? Because fear spreads socially. Human beings mirror emotional behavior. An anxious leader creates anxious teams. A reactive leader creates reactive environments. But calm also spreads. That's why the strongest leaders in difficult moments often appear emotionally steady. Not emotionless, but steady. And Vikings respected steadiness. Because in dangerous environments, emotional instability threatens survival. That's why courage was never about eliminating fear. Courage was movement despite fear. That's the Viking principle weak leaders fear the most. Many people secretly want leadership, but they want no discomfort. Respect without sacrifice. Strength without struggle. Growth without pressure. But the Vikings understood something reality eventually teaches everyone. Strength is built through resistance, not avoidance. And maybe that's why modern burnout is becoming so common. People are emotionally overwhelmed because they've trained consumption more than resilience. The Vikings trained endurance, mental endurance, physical endurance, emotional endurance. And that mindset created leaders capable of functioning under the highest amounts of pressure, not collapsing beneath it. There's another important leadership lesson hidden here too. Vikings understood collective responsibility. Every member of the group mattered. Weakness affected survival. Preparation affected survival. Discipline affected survival. And modern leadership often forgets this. Many leaders focus only on authority. The Vikings focused on contribution. That changes culture completely, because great leadership is not about controlling people. It's about becoming someone others trust during times of uncertainty. And trust is built emotionally long before crisis ever arrives. People follow leaders who remain grounded when conditions become difficult. Not perfect leaders, steady leaders. That's what made elite warriors different from emotional fighters. One reacts emotionally, the other responds intentionally. That's why the Viking mindset still matters today. Not because modern leaders need axes or battlefields, not because modern leadership still requires courage under pressure, not because modern leadership needs fear. The pressure simply changed forms. Now it's stress, conflict, uncertainty, criticism, responsibility, and eventually every leader faces a storm. The question is not whether fear will appear, it will. The question is, will fear control your movement? Because the Vikings understood something many people spend their whole lives avoiding. You do not become strong by waiting for comfort. You become strong by moving through discomfort intentionally. That's what built resilient leaders then, and honestly, it still does now. If you're looking for more real leadership insights like this one, check out my free podcast, Collaborative Leadership, on Spotify, or head over to lowtolead.com and explore free resources designed to help you step up your leadership game.